Well, good evening and welcome to another end of another weekend, but we are here for some sim racing on Go Race Promotions here on Twitch. My name is Matt Nippers, flying almost solo because the Go Race Burb is in the commentary booth. Let me just give you some proof that the bird is there. He is there. You just see him at the top of the cage there. He's there. He's happy. He's excited. He's excited to be here in the booth with me. I'm sure he will have some valuable contributions, but we are here at Sydney Motorsport Park for round number 2 of AK Racing's V8 Supercars series, and it is looking like a pretty close race tonight. Just looking at some of the times up there, the top 3, Chris Munroe, James Delaney and Matt Cotter, nothing in it between those guys, and yeah, I'm expecting a really close race between those guys. As we see, Alberto just absolutely yeet himself into the barrier at the end of the main straight. That is good stuff. That's what you love to see. Anyway, let's have a look at Tyler Craig instead. He will take us for a quick lap around this circuit. So, looks like we have got a grand total of, if I can count correctly, 18 drivers in the service so far. Kind of expecting a little bit more, but we'll see how the night goes on. Actually, we better give a little bit of attention to a debutante tonight, and that is L. Grant. I'm going to guess either Liam or Luke. I don't know. But anyway, Grant is making his debut tonight in the Rabble.com Ford Falcon. So welcome aboard, Grant, as he in fact goes into pit lane. That's cool. We were just focusing on you. Excellent. Let's have a look at Maddie Richards instead. So Maddie Richards definitely out of position there with a 205.9. Expect him to go a little bit faster than that for sure. Big talking points tonight are track limits at turn number 5, I want to say. We all know that that corner. Lots of runoff to the right-hand side as you exit. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, I think there is a car parked right at the, where is he parked? He is in a very interesting spot. Anyway, let's fly over to turn number 5, because just in the lead up to the beginning of this stream, I did see one of the course cars was parked at the exit of turn 5, and see one of the millions of ING Mustangs go very, very wide there. But yep, this is a corner that the stewards are keeping an eye on tonight. So, yeah, good times ahead for all. Something we learned from Hidden Valley, there is a big difference between the tyres now. So, Super Soft and the Softs, there is now a reason to use one or the other. And anyway, let's focus on a driver who's out on track, and that is Taylor Simmons this time round. Taylor down in 13th at the moment. I'm sure he will improve though. But, not much else to talk about other than shout out to SMR Smartin for the follow. Much appreciated, man. Hope you enjoy the stream. It is going to be quite a bit of fun tonight, hopefully. Hopefully we have a really good night of racing, and yeah, hopefully we don't have to use the golden bin too often, and yeah, hopefully we don't see that pop up too often tonight. Or maybe you're hoping that happens, I don't know, the sort of person you are. But anyway, Taylor Simmons will take us for a quick lap around this circuit as he comes around the last 2 corners just to set himself up for a quick lap, well, hopefully a quick lap. Got to get the drive perfect out of that final corner before you fire it down the front straight. Don't know who that is in front. I want to say that is I guess that's Maffey there. But tip it into turn number 1, back a gear. The sim has got that corner much smoother than what it is in real life. It is a nightmare in real life. Now to turn 2, we're going to see a lot of different lines here. Simmons is going to just take a very tight line. We're expecting to see a couple of double apex lines there. Turn 3, got to keep it nice and tight there. Watch the wheel spin on exit turn 4. Get on the brakes nice and hard. You can trail brake in all the way to the apex. Careful of that little rise there. That can induce a bit of wheel spin. Now to turn 5. These track limits on the right-hand side there. Watch those track limits. Turn 6, hard on the brakes. Simmons just missing the apex a little bit there. Watch the wheel spin under the bridge now around the other side of Corporate Hill. Again, the Sim has got this corner much smoother than what it is. And then into this hairpin. Very easy to grab a front brake, as Simmons perfectly demonstrates right on cue. Feed the power on nice and gently. Limit that wheel spin. And now we're up to one of the tougher corners on this circuit. You've got to slow the car down, turn, downshift. Get it pointed to that apex, get the curb nicely, and then to the final corner, try and get that nice late apex so you can be on 100% throttle by the time you get to that exit curb. And that is a lap for Taylor Simmons. In fact, we'll see what lap time he gets down to. I don't think it's going to be a particularly competitive time. 33.1. He's under pressure from us watching him, that's for sure. So I would say we are getting set to swap over to the qualifying server. There's a lot of drivers in pit lane. Normally they're only in pit lane when there is a driver's briefing. But anyway, yeah. We'll keep following Taylor in the, honestly, one of the best presented Mustangs in this series. Another one that I'm quite a fan of is Matt Richards' Mustang. It's no secret, I've said it before, I love these sort of asymmetrical liveries, and well, Maffey's livery is no different. I love that. That is cool. That is cool. That half black bonnet and runs all the way up to the top of the car. I love that. That is really cool. Yeah, that's about it, I would say. So we're just going to have to wait until the server ticks over, because we do not have an hour 12 left in practice, I can assure you of that. But we will jump into qualifying. In fact, why don't I actually bring up tonight's schedule. Just give me a second. Here we go, calendar. So, Sydney Motorsport Park, qualifying of 12 minutes, race 1, 16 laps, no mandatory pit stop, and then a 40-lap race number 2 to round out the evening with a compulsory pit stop. So, I'm interested to see how race 1 is going to go. I have a feeling we're going to be using a lot of bins, though, as drivers will be jockeying for every position they can to set themselves up for race number 2. Good to see it. Couple of different race formats that AK Racing are trying out this year. Looking forward to round number 4, actually, which is at Simmons Plains. It will be 3 races. Of course, next round will be on the 13th of March. That will be Albert Park, 2 24-lap races with a mandatory pit stop and a top 10 reverse grid race 2. And then round 4 will be at the end of March at Simmons Plains with 2 22-lap races with no compulsory pit stop. Race 2 will be top 10 reverse grid, and then race 3 a 60-lap slog around Simmons Plains with the results that the grid determined from the results of race number 2. So yeah, got quite a bit going on in this season of AK Racing, which is good to see. Very good to see from the guys from AK. As we see, okay, yeah, I would say that we have been sent to Narnia in the server. So let's get out of there, and we will get on to a prediction. Actually, let's get a prediction started. Poll time. What are we thinking? 128. Yeah, 128 dead. That seems reasonable. Anyway, you have 2 minutes to make your submission. What do you reckon? What is your prediction for the poll time? And also let me know in chat who you think is going to be on pole position. Are we going to see Chris Munroe? Are we going to see Matt Cotter? Matt Munroe? James Delaney? Who knows? We'll find out in a couple of minutes' time, though, as we wait for the server to come back alive. Tyler Craig, I'll be pole. Okay, there you go. So Tyler Craig will be setting a 27. That is confidence right there. I love that. Confidence is great. In fact, qualifying is actually open, is it? Here we go. So we're just joining the server. Vanderham, good luck, fellas. Yep. Thanks, Vanderham. That's good. James McFarlane there. Of course, he is racing tonight. There we go. Back up, dude. Yep. I'm loving the trash talking going on already in chat. That is good to see. We are getting set to go into qualifying. So we'll get the full screen ready for you as soon as we enter the server. Loving it. Tyler, no. Tyler's betting on over 28 flat. Interesting. All right, so here we go. We are set for qualifying. Let's see if anyone is at the end of pit lane and ready to go. Well, it is the two Munroes as ever. So let's focus on Matt Munroe as soon as I find him in the list. There he is. Because I imagine that Matt Munroe will be first out the gate. He is not going to wait for his brother to get in front of him. In fact, we've just got a face full of Nissan or Datsun. What do you prefer to call them, Nissans or Datsuns? Hit that up in chat as well. Nissan or Datsun? Let me know. Hope you've got your predictions in, folks. Here we go. We're set for a start. We're going to get this qualifying session underway in 3, 2, 1. Launch it, Maddie. That was not a launch, but straight away, Delaney has gone. He's just jumped the queue. Oh, love it. Yeah, love to see it. A bit of gamesmanship there. So James Delaney, he did not want to hang around behind the two Munros at the end of pit lane, and he will be the first man on track. He has got clear track all the way in front of him. See Matt Munroe get a little bit sideways going into turn number 2, just behind. And in fact, he's just sort of lost the tail that is his brother Chris Munroe. So that's interesting. Few little games being played in qualifying. That's what you love to see. Where's my TV? Guessing that's it. I don't know. Don't like them. Yeah, that would be it. That'd be it. Excellent. No, that is not what I wanted. Oh, God. That's probably the one I wanted. Anyway, so James Delaney will be the first one to start the stopwatch. The hypothetical stopwatch. Of course, we don't use stopwatches anymore. Or maybe someone uses a stopwatch somewhere. I don't know. You can use your stopwatch if you like at home. I don't know. James Delaney in this magnificently presented Pertec Racing Falcon. Would have thought he would have gone with the DJR livery, being number 17, of course. But, it doesn't matter. Pertec, it looks good. He fires it down the main straight and tips into turn number 1. I can tell you, in every single time I've been to this track, there has been a massive crosswind, and it is absolutely terrifying to go through that corner. Delaney gets it nice and tipped in nicely at turn 2. Gets a nice double apex. Allows him to get that power down nice and early. Only goes up to 3rd gear for turn 3, sorry. And tips it into turn 4. Gets that apex nicely. Doesn't touch that curb. You want to be careful of that curb, actually. It does have a habit of unsettling the car. Uses all the track space available at the exit of turn 5. See what his lap time is when he completes it, obviously. Really tips it in hard for Corporate Hill, and sort of goes mid-track for this hairpin. Short shifts into 2nd, and then fires it up to the last 3 corners of the circuit. Very tough to get this corner right. There's so much you're doing in this section of the circuit. The short shifts again mid-corner, so a little bit interesting. I suppose that is for stability and restricting the wheel spin, but we'll see what James Delaney can set as he crosses the start-finish line. 29.1 for James Delaney. We'll see what Chris Munroe can set. He goes pole with a 29 flat. Richards into third, double fourth. Matt Munroe, he's unable to go real well. 33.9, I'd say. He had a shocker of a lap at some point. Maybe led his brother through. Ferguson up to fourth with a 30.2. Peter Reid up into third. So, got pretty well our top three from practice in straight away. Matt Cotter, 29.049. He immediately eclipses Chris Munroe. Did not need to ask twice, really. Eaton now sneaks into the top 10. He just Taylor Craig just hanging on for dear life. We're seeing purple times all over the place now. Chris Munroe, big improvement from him. He has set a massive purple sector 1. As he's giving chase to Delaney in front of him. In fact, he is half a second up on Matt Cotter's time. He makes a little mistake going into the hairpin, grabs that front right brake. This is looking like a much smoother lap from Chris Munroe. 2 wheels going through the second last corner. Those Pirelli tyres, I thought they were control tyres, but anyway. Pirelli tyres apparently. We'll see if they fall off a cliff like they do in real life. So Delaney now into the 28th, first man into the 28th, but Munroe, I expect him to eclipse that 28.3. That is a strong lap time for Chris Munroe. Matt Richards is only able to improve to fourth. Matt Munroe, 29.2. He goes up to fourth. We'll see what Peter Reid can do. He's just coming down the front straight. He's not looking like he's going to improve. No, indeed. Down in both Sector 2 and Sector 3. Marsden, he's on for an improvement, but it's not going to be a pole time, that's for sure. He might sneak into the top 10. Indeed, he does. He goes up to 9th. He's immediately pushed down one by James Eaton in the, what is that, Evonik Commodore. 30.694. That was from Cahill. And we're seeing cars going off at turn 2. I'd say that'd be people just return to pit lane, indeed. Matt Double is on for an improvement in Sector 1, a personal best from him. That predictor is absolutely garbage. I wish I could get rid of that, because that is so useless. Tips it into the hairpin. You see it on the limit of braking. What is that? Hang on a second. Oh, Matt Double, I love it. Golden bin contender. I love it. You love to see it. I love seeing little secret things included on liveries. I wish people would put more of them in there. Gotta love it. In fact, just for that, Matt, I'm giving you a golden... I'm going to give you 2 golden bins, Double. That deserves 2 golden bins. There you go. You've got your golden bins. And Matt Double sneaks into the top 10. 30.091. But he's immediately forced out of it by James McFarland, Humminator. He is in there. He's looking rather competitive as well, as we see Chris Munroe and James Delaney now. They've got fresh tyres on and they are out having another crack. I heard someone binning it in the background. I don't know who it was. Cahill. Again, another improvement. Speaking of awesome liveries, how good is this one right here, the AlphaTauri based livery? That is... Oh, look, hang on a second, hang on. Honestly, this livery, love it. Absolutely love it. Anyway, back to full screen. And in fact, Cahill's going to return to pit lane. Okay. Try and find someone who is on a quick lap. Andrew Ferguson, he's on for an improvement. He didn't improve in Sector 1, but he's had a good improvement in Sector 2, and the Delta is showing that he is almost a 10th up on his own best time in the 31 Nissan, the TerraTech geotechnical Nissan Altima. He gets a big slide coming out of the final corner. That's going to cost him. Just watch that Delta drop down. It's now under a 10th as he fires it down the main straight. And he will improve, but not by much. 29.510. He's going to be a little bit disappointed with that one. There's Peter Reid now up into 5th. Reid is he's hunting for time at the moment. I'm a little bit surprised for Peter, the reigning champion, of course, in AK Racing V8 Supercars. If you cast your mind back to last year, in our first stream back from basically our little holiday, he took the championship in absolutely remarkable circumstances with Matt Cotter blowing his engine on the very last lap of the final round, and Cotter was leading the race by a country mile, and he blew it up with an accidental downshift. Our Bertsman now up into fourth with a 29.2. That forces Matt Munroe and Peter Reid down one. Okay, James Delaney now, he's on for a personal best. He's got to find a few more tenths than that if he's going to beat Chris Munroe in this session. Up towards the back of Corporate Hill now for James Delaney. Just see how smooth James Delaney is. He's still up on his personal best, but he's down by 3/10 on Chris Munroe. Conversely, Chris Munroe is getting closer to that 28 flat mark. Oh, big downshift from Delaney. Hear him give it a boot full of throttle just on the downshift. Absolutely have to blip the throttle at the least. Let me know in chat what you prefer. Do you like using the clutch and heel and toe, or do you just left foot brake and blip the throttle with your right foot? Let me know in chat what you love doing. I'm personally a left foot braker, and I blip the throttle with my right foot. But everyone is different after all. Not seeing anyone improving. We'll check on Chris Munroe. He's lost almost 3/10 in that middle sector. Gains it back a little bit, but 28.7. He'll be a bit frustrated with that one, that's for sure. Coming down to the last 2 minutes of practice. Oh, sorry, qualifying. I'll get your head in the game. Here we go. So we got Matt Cotter, who is improving. They're not setting purple times, but well, Cotter, he's improving. He's trying to get himself onto the front row at least with the Torpedo Motorsports Commodore. Now got Taylor Simmons just behind him. He'll get one more crack, one more bite at the apple at least. Tyler Craig's also improving, down in 8th position. But Tyler's going to need about half a second if he's going to eclipse Chris Munroe. But I mean, honestly, for me personally, if I'm within a second of the aliens, I'm happy. So Cotter will stop the clock. 28.4. He actually sets a purple sector 3. So if he can just string all his best sectors, he should be on for pole position. Let's check in with Tyler Craig as he fires it down the front straight. He's improving on his own time by more than 2/10. As he stops the clock at 29.2, that puts him up to 7th. Now I saw Peter Reid, he managed to climb up to 4th. He's getting a little bit closer. So just wait and see. So Peter Reid, he's not going to improve this lap. Well, not going to make a huge mark on Chris Munroe. Munroe has called it a day. He's quite confident with his time. Matt Cotter will return to pit lane 2, I'm sure. We'll check on James Delaney as he rounds turn number 3. See what he sets the first sector. Does he set it alive? He does not. This is looking pretty bad for James Delaney. We'll check in with Grant. Oh, we have someone around. I don't know who that was, but we'll check in on Grant because he was on for an improvement. As he tips it into the final 3 corners. Rounds the final corner. He's got a very wide exit there. Not sure he's going to have a strong finish to this session, but well, he's 32.3. Sorry, 32.8 on that last lap. Check in on our Bertsman because he's improving, as is Maddie Richards in front of him, and Marsden. In fact, I think that's Marsden just ahead of him, indeed it is. So Marsden is going to improve by 0.2. It's not going to be enough to put him in the 28s. He goes up to 11th. We'll check on Maddie Richards as he fires it down the front straight. What can he do? 29.082. So Maddie Richards, he actually displaces Peter Reid off the second row of the grid. So well done to Maddie Richards. Now, by the way, folks, if you're really keen on joining this this series, as well as whatever else that AK Racing puts on, it's more than just V8 Supercars, here is their Discord. It's right there in chat. So, might actually have to just copy paste that again so it appears on the stream itself. There you go, there's a link to the AK Racing Discord. So let's round up qualifying for you. So Chris Munroe puts it on pole position with a 28.068. So, so close to a 28 flat. Not quite a 28 flat. So unfortunately, Ruka, I'm taking some of your points. It's only 70. But that's okay, because I give it straight to Tyler Craig, my usual offsider. Matt Cotter in second will start beside Chris Munroe for race number 1. James Delaney and Maddie Richards will start off of row 2. Peter Reid and Al Bertsma off of row 3. Row 4 will be Craig and Munroe, Matt Munroe variety. Row 5, Andrew Ferguson and James McFarlane. Good to see McFarlane into the top 10. Over the page, we've got Eaton, Marsden off of row 6. Row 7, Matt Double and Taylor Simmons. So keep an eye on those two guys. They're definitely out of place. Matt Double is definitely a great race driver. Not so strong in qualifying, I don't think. Cahill and Hughes, Grant, Ross. Ross rounds out the field. So 18 competitors tonight. So that is good to see. But to start a new prediction, are we going to have a clean turn 1? I'll give you guys 2 minutes to make a decision. Okay. Oh, hello. We've got the race server up already, which is that's good to see. That AK Racing very, very quick tonight, getting the server started. See if we join in time. Tyler Craig, yes, points. Yep, right. That's good enough for a win. That's for sure. Okay, so we got 1 minute till race time, so that's good to see. Okay, let's get our drone into position. So that's not right. Where's the rest of the field? I think there is a bit of a mix-up here. As we've got a reverse of the top 10 in race number 1. Oh, yep. There was a mistake. Mistakes were made. Okay, so that's the good news. We haven't missed anything. Oh, hello. We have TA2 up there. Okay. Yeah. By the way, GT Club, TA2 Muscle Car Series is starting up soon. So yeah, I'll get a link to their Discord in a few moments. But anyway, we better focus on getting into this server. Of course, trying different things, AK Racing. So naturally, things are going to go wrong. That's for sure. All been there. In fact, while we are waiting, it's not the one I wanted. There it is. If only the FIA was as good as AK. Yeah. So let's get something happening here. All right, let's see. So this is called multitasking, folks. So there are the discords for both the leagues that we broadcast here on AK Racing, and we do have a server up. That is good. Let's hope we join in time. Love those little error boxes. That's good. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's not good. That's very bad, actually. See if we can join this time. Hopefully we can. Oh no, please. Please join. Oh no. Oh no. Ah, shit. That's not good. That is not good. Oh, that is really bad. Oh, because the server's down. Okay, yep. Okay, server was upgraded and is now doing weird things. Gotta love those upgrades that absolutely break everything. They're awesome, aren't they, Buller? Professional esports. Mate, there's professional. I wish I was getting paid to do this. I wish I was getting paid to race Octane for money. I wish I was, but I'm not. Nothing professional about us. Nothing professional on this channel, at least. Gotta love server things. Just fun and games with the servers. Yeah. While we're waiting, everyone at home, let's play a little game. Who are we liking to win race number 1? Okay, we have a server. Let's see if we can join in. JD, Jones, Delaney. Okay, Monjan. Put you up for that one. And Tyler Craig. I'll do a Bradbury and win on the final lap of both races. I like that confidence. That confidence is good, Tyler. That confidence is great. This is looking promising. Okay, here we go. So that's looking a little bit better for our race number 1. It's looking like a qualifying order. Okay, well let's get our drone into position. Cars spawning in sideways. Love to see it. Big Luck 94. How come I can't view the race? Because... Okay. Interesting. We have sound, but we have no picture. Hang on. Please? There we go. Now we got it. Now we got it. Now we don't got it. Oh, love it. Okay. We'll get there eventually. Oh, server things. Server things. You love to see it. So anyone else we're liking for race number 1? Any dark horses we should keep an eye on? That looks like a server. Okay, here we go. This is promising. All the race directors are in the server. These are fantastic looking Mustangs. Nope, one more just popped in. That's good. JD, Matt, then Jacob. It's your pick. Thought it was James Delaney, not Jacob. Oh, we got cars falling from the sky. That's awesome. Server things. Server things. Oh, another one. Oh, I'd love to see it. Good stuff. Alright, so we are set for a start as soon as row 2 and second half of row 5 spawns in. We're just waiting for I want to say that is a Humminator, right on cue. And we're just waiting on there he is, James Delaney. Alright, we're looking pretty good now for race number 1. Yep, looking good. Oh, look at this. I love this car. We pointed this out in the first race, the David Ross Ford Falcon in the Caterpillar colours. That looks awesome, and it just looks absolutely smick on the stream, I have to say. But still, we should do a bit of a poll on who has the best livery. I mean, I'm still very partial to the AlphaTauri livery. It just works so well on the Commodore for some reason. Anyway, we are just about set for a start. So 30 seconds to go. Are we going to have a clean turn 1? That is the question. Will Chris Munroe be able to gap Matt Cotter? Will Delaney or Richards be able to pull one over the front row? Will it be someone from the back? Will it be someone in the middle? We're about to find out. Because we've got 6 lights on. 6 lights out. We are away in racing. Chris Munroe looked to get a better jump. He's managed to mitigate the wheel spin really well. Delaney and Richards have got a blinding start. Here comes Delaney up the inside of Cotter. He's done it. We'll have a look at the rest of the field. We've gone 3 wide in some places, almost 4 wide. Al Bertsman gets hip and shouldered off the circuit, but otherwise that is a clean turn 1. Turn 2, a little bit of a different story. We see Munroe get hip and shouldered a little bit. He gets almost turned around by Richards. Oh no, Cahill, he gets turned around by the newcomer of Grant. Oh, huge shame there for Grant and Cahill. But James Delaney with the whole shot. He is out in front of Matt Cotter. So I'm going to say that is a clean turn 1. And we get on with the race. So Delaney leads the way. Matt Cotter trailing him as they head around Corporate Hill for the first time. Chris Munroe just holding station. Matt Munroe's had a really good start. He's up to 4th. Tyler Craig as well. Similarly, a great start from him. Interesting to see the amount of drivers who have gone with the soft tyre over the super soft tyre. It's almost an even split of the field on softs versus the super softs. So that'll be interesting to see who comes out on top at the end of this 16-lap race. See in the background here, we got a couple of cars side by side. That's Maddie Richards and James McFarlane. In fact, they're still rubbing. And Richards is bumped out wide, so Richards has had a bit of a nightmare lap 1. He's dropped all the way down to 9th place, and he may lose another position as the Terratech Nissan of Ferguson tries to sneak up the inside. He can't quite get it done this time by. See Matt Double recovering. He's now back up to 11th past James Eaton. And we have Simmons and Marsden just behind them. So see the progress of the Supersoft runners. Richards, he's gone with Supersofts. I'm guessing this race is definitely not going to plan for Matt Richards down in 9th place. To start a new prediction, I think. Who's going to finish higher? We'll assess that a little bit later. They tip it through the hairpin. Richards chasing Vanderham. In fact, Peter Reid's had a bit of a nightmare start as well. He's down in 7th place. Definitely out of position, trying to chase down Bertsma. So qualifying and race pace seem to be 2 different things. Who'd have thunk it? As Richards tries to shove the nose of the very long nose of the Mustang up the inside of the other Mustang. Doesn't quite get it done, though. And they tick off another lap. Delaney, he is starting to gap Matt Cotter. 1.6 seconds the gap between Delaney and Cotter. Tyler Craig, he's having a good run. He's just within a second of Matt Munroe. He's on the super soft tyres, so we'll see how far he can make these tyres last. I mean, there has to be a reason why half the field has gone for the soft tyres as opposed to the super soft tyres. That was Maddie Richards getting out of shape coming out of turn number 3. And that's going to leave him vulnerable to Ferguson. Fergo looking up the inside now. Couldn't quite get it done this time by. Now he's just got to be nice and patient. Wait for the opportunity. He's got to keep in mind that Matt Double is right behind him in the number 142 Holden Commodore. They tip it through the hairpin for lap number 3. Tip it, and at the same time, Double's got to be very wary of Eaton. Eaton on the super soft tyre. See if Eaton can make an impression on Matt Double. Matt Double, of course, we've seen in GT Club many times. He was racing on Friday night for the Ford Focus Super Cup. And now trying his hand in V8 Supercars with AK Racing, which is great to see. And he'll also be running GT Club's WEC series and their TA2 series as well, which is really going to be super fascinating. Well, I see a battle. I see a battle, and Simmons off the track. That's a half bin. He manages to just pull it off, turn into a bit of a 4-wheel drift there, and rejoin the circuit. Nicely done there from Taylor Simmons, actually. Right. Now we've got to make a prediction here. Who's going to finish higher? Who will finish higher? Who do you guys want? Who do you guys want to bet on? Because I'm sort of looking at Maddie Richards. He's definitely out of position. He's got 3 drivers on the soft tyre in front of him. So, and he's definitely got pace over James Vanderham, but he just cannot find a way through on the Kmart Mustang. But they're also closing in on the back of Peter Reid, so it might be in Matthew's best interest not to get too carried away with this battle for McFarlane, potentially cost himself a chance at Peter Reid as they head down the front straight once again. Interesting to see the pace. Matt Munroe in the mid-30s along with Craig Albertsma. In fact, the whole field really sticking to the mid-30s in race number 1. Back down to first gear for Matt Richards. Goes for the double apex. He's got so much more mid-corner pace with those super soft tyres. Oh, gets a little bit of a slide on. Just to hold on to it though. You know what? Let's make this this prediction interesting. Yeah, you know what? I like this. These two are sort of nose to tail at the moment, so we've got a prediction happening here: Tyler Craig or Matt Munroe. So these two gentlemen here. So we got Matt Munroe in the number 706 Nissan Altima, and then just behind him is Tyler Craig in one of many ING Mustangs. Now Craig on the Super Softs versus Matt Munroe on the softs. So that's going to be interesting. I'm seeing a lot of people betting on Matt Munroe though. So there's the confidence. As Eaton now passes Matt Double. I want to guess that Matt Double has had a bit of a blue coming into that final section. And he's actually vulnerable now to the Nissan Altima of Stephen Marsden. And here comes Marsden up the inside. Oh, I think there may have been a little touch. Oh, wow, we have got cars everywhere. McFarlane and Richards, I think those two have come together finally. So, Richards, I think he's got a little bit of damage there. Turn 2 is a very, very, very tough corner to make a pass in, because a lot of the time the normal race line is to angle it in for that first apex and aim for that double apex. So very easy to get it wrong, especially if the driver in front is just sort of in his own little world and not really paying attention to what's going on around him. So I want to say that was accidental contact between, well, we have no idea what's actually happened between Matt Richards and James McFarlane. In fact, we might note that down. So, got my notebook here. Just so we'll definitely have a look at that at the end of the night, see what actually happened between those two. But well, sorry, actually, might go back to this battle here, because Richards on Simmons. This is going to be an equally brave move, as up ahead we see McFarlane looking up the inside of Hughes, and Matt Richards. That is a pretty strong pass into turn number 1. And we see McFarlane up the inside of Hughes. Hughes just squeezes him. He's not letting that go in a hurry, that's for sure. I'll tell you what, the battle for 4th is starting to fire up a little bit. Matt Munroe is holding off the charge of Tyler Craig and Albertsma. I think that's James Albertsma in the number 49 Holden Commodore. And not too far behind them is Peter Reid, actually. Oh, Richards, he's all out of shape here and there. Just got to try and settle down, get into a rhythm. What do we always say, Ruka? What do we always say on this channel? Have faith in your pace. Oh, we see Kmart Mustang getting nice and tight onto the back of Hughes's Commodore. tip it through the final two corners. This is a good run from... Oh, Hughes, he's got a bit of wheel spin on the exit curb. There was no touch. And around goes Hughes. He's going to lose 3 positions. McFarlane, Richards and Simmons all going through on him. The pressure just got too much for poor James Hughes. I'll tell you who's fighting back really nicely is it is Cahill in the number 4 AlphaTauri Commodore. Saw him get turned around in turn 2, lap 1, and he's already closing in on the back of these guys as Simmons goes wide. So is McFarlane. So turn 2, catching out people casually. Anyway, let's check in with our prediction battle. So Matt Munroe and Tyler Craig, and I'll tell you what, Craig is starting to close in a little bit closer to Munroe. Similarly, Munroe of the Chris variety is closing in on the back of Matt Cotter. In fact, Cotter is actually, they're both actually starting to close in a little bit on James Delaney on lap 8 of 16. So still got plenty of time. We're at half race distance now. As Matt Munroe gets a little bit of understeer coming onto the front straight now. I wonder how well Tyler has looked after his tyres. That will be the big question. We'll jump on board with him, just try and get a little bit of an idea of how this car is behaving for Tyler Craig as he tips it into turn number 1. See a little bit of entry understeer, but that's not too bad. It's the mid-corner understeer that you don't want. Now, I'm seeing these two battling away, McFarlane and Hughes. So Maffey sort of just disappeared up the road from these guys. Ooh, Hughes almost taking the top layer of the paint off that Mustang as they fire it into turn 1. And McFarlane going for that wide sweeping line. That actually sets him up for a real clean exit of turn 3. So McFarlane's absolutely executed that perfectly. As you can see, he's pulled out a second. Here comes Simmons now looking up the inside of Hughes. Can't get it done. Just files in behind Hughes for now. Bit of a twitch there for Simmons. Interesting that these guys are using the curbs. Now, here comes Simmons thinking about it. Puts up the inside. He's got the nose in. A little bit of a tap. Play on, I reckon. And those guys will just return to the line of stone. Well, let's check in with because something has happened here. Tyler Craig has dropped behind our Bertsma for reasons unknown. I'll definitely have to try and work out what happened there. That is lap 9. See what happened there for Tyler Craig, because he's dropped a fair bit of time to the back of Matt Munroe and actually dropped behind our Bertsma. He's actually coming under a bit of pressure from Peter Reid in the Funkadelic looking Mustang. This is certainly a very colourful livery, if I don't mind saying so. Certainly stands out on the stream, that's for sure. See that car a mile away. It's beautiful. Oh, here we go. Have a look at this. Now, Cotter and Munroe, they're starting to close in on Delaney, but now I think there may be a little bit of a battle going on here between these guys. Oh, Munroe is trying to sneak up the inside, gets a little bit of wheel spin coming out of the final corner. These guys are both closing in on Delaney. Half a second faster was Cotter and 0.6 faster was Chris Munroe. So I'd say those super soft tyres have started to go off, fall off a cliff, I should say. Ooh, how close do you want it from Chris Munroe? Cotter, he's closed up half a second just in the first sector. So Delaney, he is in trouble at the moment. The tyres are starting to fall off this number 17 Pertec Falcon. And that will be food for thought for a lot of these drivers as we enter the longer race number 2. As they head up towards the back of Corporate Hill. Oh, big slide, and he grabs the front brake. Big slide from Cotter. So, huge sends from both Delaney and Cotter. I'd say that'd be a compression lock from both Cotter and Delaney. Very easy to compression lock in these cars. Now down the front straight to tick off another lap. And now the battle is on between the top 3. That was a little bit of a flicker there for Chris Munroe. He's also taken the lead somehow. So there we go. It's corrected itself. Oh, Delaney, he is getting heaps of understeer, and he just cannot get that Falcon rotated through turn 2 now. So the battle is now on for James Delaney. Can he hang on for another 4 laps? Christoph 69. Where is Grant? Grant is actually doing really well. He is up to 14th. So the debutant is having a strong showing. He's into the top 15. That is great to see from the 261 Ford Falcon. So yeah, we'll focus on him in a second, but we've got a battle for the lead here. So I'm sure you can understand why we're not focusing on Grant at the moment, or any of the other big battles that are taking place down in the field. We've got Peter Reid on the back of Tyler Craig. And we've also got Eaton on with holding off Marsden for 9th place. Yeah. Oh, Hughes into the pit lane, so must be a problem for James Hughes. Maybe he's just got a bit of damage. Let's jump on board with Matt Cotter. We'll see where he can make this move stick. He's got the slipstream into turn 1, but you have to be super brave or super stupid to go for a move in turn 1, I reckon. Now here we go into turn 2. He's not going to fire it up the inside just yet. He's going to be a little bit more patient. Delaney gets a little bit sideways on the downshifts, and that almost opened the door for Cotter, but Delaney doing a very good job of making this Falcon super wide. Can we get a tape measure out to measure this Falcon's width, please? Here comes Cotter. He's going to fire it up the inside at turn 5. Delaney's going to try and stick it around the outside. And I think Cotter, he has mugged James Delaney as they enter turn 6. Here comes Munroe. He's looking up the inside. He's trying to go through the hole that Cotter has made for him. But no, Matt Cotter takes the lead of the race from James Delaney. And now Delaney, he's under pressure from Chris Munroe. Here comes Munroe with a send into the hairpin. He almost touches. He does touch. Great racing between these guys. Fair racing as well. So Delaney with worn out tyres. He's hanging on for dear life. I think it's going to be a matter of when, not if, Chris Munroe can get around Delaney. You see Delaney, he can't get the power down out of the final corner. Munroe, he almost got the better run. He's had to tuck into the slipstream. Here we go now, into turn 1. Munroe, he's going to put it up the inside. No, he doesn't. A little bit of net code there. Oh, slide for Delaney. How's the slide? He's on the grass. He manages to hang on to it. And Chris Munroe is well up to the B pillar, but Delaney's going to argue around the outside if he can. He's got the inside for the next corner. I think he's got a bit of an overlap over Munroe. And no, he just doesn't have the grip. So Chris Munroe goes into second. Great exchange between those two. And now Chris Munroe will set off in pursuit of Matt Cotter, but he's running out of time. We're on lap 14 of 16. I'll definitely keep an eye on these two. Keep an eye on the gaps there. Tyler Craig has dropped down to 7th, incidentally, as Peter Reid gets around him. We've also got a battle between two guys who went on the Super Softs, James Eaton and Stephen Marsden. We're going to jump on board with Stephen Marsden, actually, as he looks up thinks about the move for sure, going into turn number 4. And this is for 9th place, by the way. Matt Double is also closing in on these guys. And that double on the soft tyres, these two on super softs. Here comes Marsden up the inside. Oh, lovely move from Stephen Marsden. Absolute textbook stuff from the number 30 Terratech Altima. I almost called it Pulsar. Oh, Chris Munroe, he's in pit lane. Why is Chris Munroe in pit lane? Did he blow up the engine? I cannot imagine why Chris Munroe has dived into pit lane as we near the final lap. That is very, very weird for Chris Munroe. He's dropped down to... He's going to drop down probably behind Tyler Craig there. So, did someone see what happened there? Because I certainly didn't. Well, anyway, that has saved James Delaney. But we'll see if Matt Munroe can hold on to third. So we've lost one Munroe, but we've promoted another Munroe onto the podium as they tip it through Corporate Hill for the penultimate time. Look how aggressive these guys are tipping it into the hairpin. That is quite amazing, actually. Oh, look at the ping on Chris Munroe. He is straight up not having a good time with his internet. So the lousy internet for Chris Munroe strikes again, I think. A dreaded disconnect. I got a good battle for 8th now as well. Stephen Marsden and James Eaton. Matt Double on for a top 10. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but I think this will be Matt Double's first top 10 in this series. As our leader is on his final lap, Matt Cotter. So he heads round turn number 3 once more. Heads down the hill. This has been a great drive from Matt Cotter. Very patient, very mature drive. He's just managed those tyres beautifully. He didn't get too carried away trying to keep up with Delaney on the super softs. And he's just let those tyres of Delaney wear out, and Matt is just... it's just made a very comfortable win for Matt Cotter. Cotter comes around the hairpin one more time, a little bit wide, but he's got time to spare. So he heads through the final 3 corners, ready to claim another race win in the AK Racing Supercar Series. And he is happy about it. And I'd be happy with this win too if I was him. So Matt Cotter, the winner of race number 1, ahead of James Delaney in the Pertec Falcon. We got a battle, the slipstream battle. Our Bertzma, he has got the slipstream on Matt Cotter. I don't think it's going to be enough, and Matt Munroe will hold on to the final podium position. We'll check in with this little battle here. Actually, we also got a battle between Ferguson and Tyler Craig, but that's been resolved. But I think Stephen Marsden will hold on for 8th ahead of Eaton. Eaton getting slipstreamed by Matt Double, but not going to be enough for Matt Double to promote himself from 10th. We'll check in with Grant, the debutant. He's actually up to 13th now. I did see Cahill's name light up in red, so I'd say Cahill had a bit of a bin moment at some point. And that is Grant's decent result on debut, I'd have to say. Decent result. So, let's head back to the pits and wrap up this first race. Let's also hand out some channel points as well. So, Ruka. Matt, I'm taking away some points from you. So, Matt Munroe finishing higher than Tyler Craig. Alright, so let's wrap up this first race. So Matt Cotter and James Delaney and Matt Munroe, that is your podium. Then we got our Bertsma, Peter Reid, rounding out the top 5. Then Tyler Craig holding on to 6. Tyler in chat saying his tyres went at like at lap 8. That's important data for the next race for sure. Andrew Ferguson in 7th, Stephen Marliston 8th, Eaton 9th, and Matt Double recording a top 10 in his first time at the track in these cars. Maddie Richards in 11th, McFarlane 12th, Grant 13th, Cahill 14th, Taylor Simmons in 15th. Then we have Hughes, Ross, and unfortunately Chris Munroe. I reckon the dreaded disconnect hit him yet again. So that wraps it up for race number 1 tonight. We've got one more race coming up very, very soon. Let's see if we can get the server up straight away. Sure, Bullermeister is absolutely working overtime. Got those elite hacker skills coming out of you, Buller. What if that shows my age? Me saying elite. I don't know. Let me know in chat. Am I old? Better get a new prediction happening for turn 1, I reckon. Race 2, turn 1, or is it going to be clean? Is it going to be just an absolutely filthy, disgusting festival of bins? Should have been turn 2. Yeah. I should really make it, is it going to be a clean lap 1? Just to make it a little bit more tense for everyone. Oh, hang on, we have got a server. Don't forget, it costs you absolutely nothing to take part in these predictions. They are a lot of fun. They're very addictive, by the way. But the best way to earn channel points is just to keep watching this channel. That's how you get your channel points up. And then you can double or triple them by taking part in our predictions. I have no idea what we can use channel points for, but they're definitely important for reasons unknown. I think you can actually use those channel points to highlight your chat messages or do other things in chat. Tyler voting no. Here comes the dive bomb. No, I'll break very extremely late. Tyler, that is a dive bomb. That is what a dive bomb is. Just breaking extremely late. We got about 3 minutes before we start. What is going on here? There we go. Okay. Oh my God! Why does that happen? Ugh. I hate that. What on earth is going on here? Ah, jeez. What? Someone in chat, let me know why that keeps happening. Turn 2, that should have the prediction. You know what? Okay. We'll make it. Alright, here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to change it up. Change it up. I'll give you 2 minutes to think about this. So, new prediction. Are we going to have a clean turn 1 and clean turn 2? Had 0 fuel. Maddie. Maddie, hard luck there. Should probably stop asking for fuel advice from me and Chris Nipris. It's really, really bad. We don't know fuel strats at all. Stop listening to us. Seeing a lot of people putting everything on no. It's always good to see. Bullermoss with no faith in the AK group. That is you're going to regret that, Buller. You're going to regret that. So I reckon these guys are going to surprise you. Okay, well anyway, let's run through the starting order for race number 2. So we have Matt Cotter, James Delaney, Matt Munroe, and Al Bertman. That is row 1 and 2. Row 3 will be Peter Reid and Tyler Craig, Andrew Ferguson and Stephen Marsden off of row number 4. Row 5 we have Eaton and Matt Double, and we have Maddie Richards, McFarland off of row 6. Row 7 will be Grant and Cahill. Great performance from Grant in race number 1. Let's see if he can improve it for race number 2. Taylor Simmons and James Hughes off of row 8, and then row 9 will be David Ross and supposedly Chris Munroe. But I don't think Chris Munroe will be returned to the server. I think his internet just went absolutely ballistic on him. Oh no, there he is. Right on cue. Right on cue. Okay, well, we are getting set for a start. Hopefully the drone camera doesn't go full retard on me again. What do you guys reckon? Right there. I reckon right here looks good. See who gets the better jump. Matt Munroe, he is ready. Matt Cotter is ready as well. Delaney's no real movement from Delaney at the moment, but we are on the limiter. We're bashing that limiter. It's 6 lights on. 6 lights out, we are away and racing. Lots of wheel spin from James Delaney as they get off the line for the first time. Oh no, we had a carnage at the back of the field. We didn't even make it to turn 1, unfortunately. And that would be Grant and Hughes. So we did not even make it to turn number 1. Let's see if we can get through turn number 2. No, that's Matt Munroe. He's a little bit down with Peter Reid, and Matt Double getting tagged by Simmons. But they all get through. But yeah, thanks Rooks. Thanks Rooks. Forgot about that. There you go. That's okay. You got my reaction to that wild start to race number 1. So Delaney takes the lead. He's got the whole shot over Matt Cotter. How are we going to call that prediction? We're going to have to go no, because we didn't even make it to turn 1. Cotter now up the inside of Delaney. In fact, they're going to go side by side around Corporate Hill. This is going to be brave stuff for Delaney. He's on the outside. Yeah, anyway, we're going to call that no. So have some points, Buller. Oh, now Cotter out wide. This might give Al Bertman a chance. See what the drive is like for Matt Cotter. Yep. I'll have to have a look at the start in the replay at the end of this race. But Al Bertman now chasing after Cotter. In fact, Al Bertman is going with these guys at the front. Oh, here we look at this. Peter Reid up the inside of Marsden going into turn number 1. And that is nicely done by Peter Reid. Actually has to go defensive because Marsden, I think he was looking for a move back on Reid. Now the two TerraTech Altimas are nose to tail. We'll have a look at where is Chris Munroe? Is he, I don't think he's actually made it into the server. He's gone. He is gone indeed. So huge shame for Chris Munroe. Certainly not his fault again, as Matt Munroe thinks about a move on Tyler Craig. Can't quite get it done this time round. He's going to try it at Corporate Hill. That's fairly brave. He's just going to switch it back and fire it up the inside of Craig. Craig actually runs in very deep. Munroe, I think he's got V8 Supercars mixed up with Rallycross. That was a nice little slide there, but certainly don't want to be sliding in these cars. hurt those rear tyres too much. As Munroe now into fourth, and he'll try and close in on the back of Albertsma. Albertsma just starting to lose touch with the two in front, but they're actually starting to battle a little bit. Cotter and Delaney. As they go through turn number 1, nose to tail, and into turn 2. Cotter now thinking about trying to stick the nose in under Delaney, but Delaney's just got that little bit better drive out of turn 2. Oh, slide there for Delaney. Might give Cotter a chance, but I think Cotter maybe just thinking about just tucking in behind Delaney and just going with him for now. It is very early days in this race. So we see Ross and Hughes in pit lane already. So I'd say Ross and Hughes have got some big damage after the carnage on the start. As Tyler Craig drops behind Peter Reid for 5th and 6th. Also got a nice battle developing between Ferguson and Marsden. So Ferguson has pulled one over his teammate. Marsden just dropping back into the clutches of Matt Richards. Matt Richards having a good start. He's up into the top 10. Matt Double just behind him with McFarlane. So we got a nice tasty battle here for 8th place at the moment. Might even call it 7th if we count Ferguson. So a little under 8/10 up the road from these guys as Maffey looks up the outside of Marsden and he goes for a switchback in turn 1. This will be a very unorthodox move, but Richards, he has actually got this move sewn up. That was beautiful. It's not over yet because Marsden and Richards, a little bit of hip and shoulder there from Richards onto Marsden. Now Marsden will be vulnerable to Double. Because Double's definitely got the momentum. He's under attack from the Humminator. So they tip it through turn 5, line astern. Marsden, I don't know. His car's just not switching on at the moment. Oh, big slide from Double. He's on the rear brakes there going into turn 6. Through Corporate Hill. Double still defending from McFarland. The top 3 starting to compress a little bit. Now Birchman just a little over 8/10 now behind Cotter. But Cotter and Delaney are fighting pretty hard, which is surprising, I would say. It's still very early in this race to be fighting tooth and nail. What sort of strategies are we going to see tonight, do you reckon, chat? We're going to see some drivers split between softs and super softs, or are we going to just have softs for the entire race? Softs all the way, okay, interesting. Now, we're going to make this prediction very interesting. So who at the completion of lap 24, who is going to be higher? Who's going to be higher up in the standings? I'm going to go. Let's make it interesting. We'll go with these two gentlemen. These guys are battling to stay in the top 10, and that is James McFarland and Stephen Marsden. So let's have a look at these two. So Marsden is all over the back of Matt Richards, and McFarland, he's stuck behind Matt Double, but well, we still have more than 20 laps. Oh, Chris, VR headset decided to malfunction. Oh, dude. Dude, that's heartbreaking, man. What VR were you using? What headset was it? pesky hardware problems, man. At least it wasn't your internet this time, though. Now we see Delaney now. He's under a lot of pressure from Matt Cotter. I tell you what, Albertsma is driving absolutely picture perfect in this race. I think he's, from the outside looking in, I reckon Albertsma's just sitting here watching these two battle going, yep, you know what, I don't need to get involved with them. I just need to be in striking range for if they do come together. And Cotter is racing pretty hard. He's forcing Delaney to go defensive so early in the race. As much as I like to say it's too early in the race to be defensive, I think for Delaney, what he is worried about is that Cotter just has so much more pace that if he gets in front of Delaney at any stage of this race, Delaney is not going to be able to repass the spinning torpedo. They tip it through turn one once more. Well, there's a theory, Monjan. JD playing. He could just be trying to back Cotter into Albertsma. As we see McFarlane now. He's just got ahead of Matt Double. And now he sets off in pursuit of Stephen Marsden in the number 30 Terratech Nissan. So those of you who've put their channel points on Marsden, Ruka, I'm going to be claiming those 300 points back, I reckon. So I think McFarlane's just got more pace in this early stage of the race. So we see the 37 wiggling under brakes. It's certainly not over between McFarlane and Double. They're still battling away pretty hard. Also got a decent battle brewing between the Matt Munroe, the sole surviving Munroe. As he's trying to hold off Peter Reid. Munroe 185, especially now another championship goes down the drain. Mate, it's not over. We're on round 2. Anyone else can have failures. Never give up. Never, ever give up. So, Peter Reid just starting to get the blowtorch onto the back of the 706. It's interesting to see Peter Reid actually swapped from the Commodore to the Mustang. So, yeah, the reigning champion changing to the Ford Mustang. Don't know that there is that much difference between them. All bit of a wobble there for Peter. So we can see a little bit of understeer from Matt Munroe there as they went through Corporate Hill. So this might give Peter a bit of a chance. See that this Mustang is actually rotating a lot better than the Altima in front of him. So, oh, Munroe's gone wide, and that is just going to be an easy pass. Matt Munroe not fighting that one bit. So, Peter Reid, the pressure has worked. And he displaces Matt Munroe into 4th place. Okay, well, the battle for the lead has sort of settled down for now. James Delaney is just starting to open up the gap a little bit. In fact, he's on track for a personal best. We'll check how Matt Cotter's going. So it's definitely not Cotter's pace. It's just Delaney's decided to stop playing around and open up the taps a little bit. He actually set the fastest lap by the looks of things, 29.9. So this battle has died down for now. I'm going to check in on our little prediction battle here. So Stephen Marsden, he's starting to come under pressure from the number 37 Mustang as we get right on cue. We get a face full of Ford Mustang. As here comes McFarlane, he's got the slipstream, but Canny doesn't want to commit to a big move in turn one. Still very early in this race. He'll try and set himself up for turn number two. And he's just settling into a rhythm behind Marsden for now. Although, as I say that, he almost stuck the big long nose of the Mustang up the inside of Marsden. Marsden spears off into the fence. Oh, that is a bin and a half. He has pulled a Peter Brock. And I'm going to give that 3 solid bins out of 5. And that is a lot. That's a lot of damage. That is broken steering. He almost went to the Shadow Realm, Ruka. That is really unfortunate for Stephen Marsden. He is going to be super frustrated with that. We'll actually go into free cam and look at this car. Visually not too bad, but yeah, mechanically there is a lot of problems with this Nissan Altima. And he's done it at the start of the lap, so it's going to be a very long drive back. In fact, he's going to try and shortcut some of the track. Huge shame. We saw Peter Brock actually end up in that very wall back in I believe it was 1995 or no, it would have been the early 90s. It was in the VP Commodore, and it was a very sickening crash. The onboard, I remember seeing it in about 2010 when we had all the Hans devices and the seats that wrapped around the driver's head basically, and well, it was very uncomfortable to watch Brocky's head basically invert itself when he hit the wall. But yeah, good that this is virtual racing, so no chance of whiplash there. So Cotter has responded. He's down into the high 29s himself. So he's right up the back of Delaney into the... Oh, someone else is off. Oh, that's still Stephen Marsden trying to crawl back to pit lane. As he's made it to the last corner. Battle is still alive. Albertsma has just started to drop off. He's faded from these guys a little bit. Ten Lama, yeah, thank you, mate. Some memory I got there. Yeah. If it's Motorsport, I'll remember it. If it's anything else, I'm going to forget it. Like, no if, buts, or maybes about it. That includes sim racing, by the way. So if you bin it real good here, mate, I'm going to remember it for years. I can't remember the results, but I remember the bins. Now, unfortunately, my boy here, Tyler Craig, usual offsider in the commentary box, he's starting to come under pressure from the other Terratech Altima of Andrew Ferguson, and he's brought Maddie Richards to the party as well. Not too far behind is James McFarland. So we're looking at a decent potential four-way battle for 6th place. So we're going to jump on board with Maffey himself. So he's trying to chase down Ferguson. So Craig run a little bit deep into the hairpin, but he manages to convert that into a late apex and get some great drive off the hairpin. So I want to say Matthew has been watching the streams here quite a bit because he's doing everything right here, just having faith in his pace. That's what we always say. Have faith in your pace. Oh, I cannot do hashtags. Oh, forget it. Never mind, I can't do hashtags at all. We should get that trending on Twitter though. Have faith in your pace. And share the stream with it too. Similarly, I can see a little bit of a battle down in 13th and 14th. Our new boy, El Grant, making his debut tonight in the Rabble Falcon. He's starting to put the pressure on Cahill again. In what is my favourite livery in this series, the AlphaTauri Holden Commodore. He's going to start charging me royalties. Yeah, he is. He doesn't have to know. He's not in chat. He doesn't watch the stream. Yeah, he's not in the stream. He's not in chat. It's all good. I can use that as many times as I like. Anyway, Grant, he's 7/10ths faster than Cahill on the previous lap. Now we'll definitely see if Grant can close in on the back of the AlphaTauri Commodore. Ooh, bit of a wiggle there as he goes back into first gear. Ooh, gets a little bit too excited with the throttle. You've got to be so gentle on the throttle, especially when you're in first gear, like Grant was then. As they tip it through the last corner. Grant just not getting the drive down the front straight, so he's not going to be close enough for a lunge at turn 1. But, still plenty of time for Grant to have a decent battle with Cahill, and again, it just goes to show how close the battles are, no matter where you are in the field. I mean, these guys are about 10 seconds adrift of James Eaton up ahead, but still, these guys will be having an absolute ball with their race down here in 13th and 14th. And I think for me personally, I don't really worry too much about results. I just want to race. I just want to have really good, close racing. Oh, as Grant runs a little bit wide and he's going to lose time. Didn't have that faith in his pace. And that's what happens. Anyway, speaking of close battles, we now have a 4-way, and it could even become a 5-way because Matt Double is he's actually a little bit quicker than Tyler Craig by about 2/10ths. He has settled into a rhythm nicely in 10th place. Here he is, Matt Double. He's also in his first season with AK Racing in their V8 Supercar Series. Made his debut last round at Hidden Valley. Of course, Matt Double, not a name we are unfamiliar with, as we have a change for the lead. Matt Cotter has passed James Delaney. I only just saw that out of the corner of my eye with the tower. And we'll see if Delaney can respond. Certainly threw the number 17 into the hairpin. Can only imagine what has gone wrong there for Delaney, so we might just note that down. And anyway, we'll keep an eye on this gap. So definitely a mistake from Delaney somewhere on the lap. He was more than a second slower than Matt Cotter. And anyway, we're going to double check with this battle here. Oh, here we go. Matt Richards up the inside of Ferguson. Matt Munroe also into pit lane, by the way. So we're getting closer to that half race distance. Oh, Ferguson wide on the grass. That may... Oh, he centre punches Matt Richards. He was just a little bit out of control after turn one. He ended up on the grass and he just could not slow the car down. Absolutely no ill intentions there for Andrew Ferguson. But we'll definitely have a look at that as well. Probably won't want me to look at it, but we're going to have a look at it post-race as well. I mean, we saw it live. I think Ferguson just losing a bit of traction on the grass when he ran wide at turn one. Probably got unsettled. Interrupted his rhythm. No, he just couldn't pull the car up as he missed his braking marker. But that has blown that battle for now 5th place fairly wide open. Tyler Craig will be happy to see that those guys coming together and battling away. It takes the pressure off of him at least. Now he can just focus on his rhythm, but he's starting to lose a little bit of pace. The predictor showing a 31.4 this time by. He's got the lap car of Stephen Marsden just ahead of him. So they tip it through turn one once more. Delaney has actually responded on Matt Cotter. He's closed that gap down. Again, big slide for Delaney. Speedways it through turn 4. Won't be helping him, but certainly looks good on the camera, that's for sure. We're right on board with James Delaney now as he's giving chase to Matt Cotter. I think we're just starting to see these guys struggle with their tyres a little bit. While we have got a little bit of a lull in the action, even though these guys are very close together. Just a reminder, if you want to get involved in AK Racing or GT Club, which is two of 3 sim racing leagues we broadcast here on Go Race Promotions, you can join their Discords and get involved. So there's some links for some Discords. And hope you get involved in them because they are both really good communities, fun-loving communities, and yeah. St. Lama, yeah, you have to give these V8s a crack. Why not? Let's get all of GT Club into there. Need to form the GT Club racing team. Tip it through Corporate Hill once more. Delaney, ooh, lights up the tyres a little bit. I want to say that those rear tyres are screaming enough. So Matt Munroe starting to make his way through the field on brand new tyres. We'll see what lap times he is doing. He's in the mid-30s on the predictor. He just got round Taylor Simmons behind him in the 551 Mustang. Simmons just sort of trailing James Eaton or stalking him a little bit. Oh, Cahill? No, these guys are still line of stern. I thought they'd swap positions. I don't think they have though. Okay, now Tyler Craig, he's got problems because McFarlane. I tell you what, James McFarlane has got massive pace on this Ford Mustang. And he has got, without a doubt, the best onboard camera out of everyone in this field. You'll love to see it. as Craig runs it very, very deep. He'll have to give space to the Humminator, and Humminator gives him a little bump. Tries to Humminate him. Doesn't quite work. Now Craig is under pressure. This will bring Double into the battle as well. So we can hear the valuable commentary from from the Go Race Bird. He's decided to go full. I reckon he's had a cup of coffee or something because he's going ballistic now. It's great to see. Love to see it. So this is for the top 5. Here comes McFarland. We see Craig running a little bit too deep, but he gets the drive off the hairpin. And he manages to hold on to it one more time. They fire it down the main straight. Once more, Tyler Craig doing enough at the moment just to make that ING Mustang. I think he's the only ING Mustang tonight, which is a bit of a disappointment. Don't know what happened to the other Mustangs in the ING colours. But Tyler Craig flying the flag high for ING. Look at the back of the number 458. See Matt Munroe go past James Eaton, but you'd sort of expect that. Munroe on brand new tyres. He will have so much confidence as well in those tyres. Tell you what, when these tyres do wear out on these cars, basically you wish they hadn't. That's all I can really say about it. And sad to say, Matt Double's not really making an impression on McFarland or Craig. He's down in still 4 seconds behind these guys, as we see Craig. He's taking a bit of a wider line through some of the slower corners. It's helping him keep the momentum up, but it's offering a temptation for James McFarland. Just wonder if maybe Craig is trying to look after the rear tyres a little bit more and just try and keep the drive happening. So we had Tyler Craig on in the commentary box on Tuesday night for Shakedown Sim Racing. And by the way, we'll be back live with those guys on Tuesday night. So make sure you hit the follow button so you don't miss when we go live for that one. They head through turn 5 once more. Craig got a bit of a lap now. But, Tyler was mentioning on Tuesday night that he is really, really struggling with turn 2. He just cannot work out the line that you need to take. In my opinion, there are 2 trains of thought that you can have for turn 2. You can either go in deep and go for a double apex, or you can brake a little bit earlier and try and hold it as tight as possible and just basically make... basically hold it on the inside curb for the entire corner. I suppose it really depends on how you prefer to have your car set up, or what you want for turn 3, because turn 3 would probably be a much more important corner than turn 2, in my opinion. But, nonetheless, these guys are having a great race for the back of the top 5. We'll definitely keep an eye on them as the race goes on. We're actually almost at half race distance, so channel points incoming. Actually, I think channel points outgoing for Ruka. Yep, I'll be taking those 300 go races back from you, mate. But, we'll check in with our battle for the lead, because Delaney is all over the back of Matt Cotter. So we tip it through the hairpin one more time. Cotter runs in a little bit deep. gives Delaney a chance. Delaney runs a little bit wide, grabs that grass. I'll tell you what, this is shaping up to be an epic battle between these two guys. Delaney with the headlights ablaze is putting as much pressure as he can. In fact, he has got really good drive out of the final corner. And the slipstream, he pulls out of the draft to go up the inside at turn 1. This is going to be brave. Cotter gives him space. No, they bump door handles. They're bumping mirrors. They're trading positions on the tower. And I think Delaney, he'll have the overlap for turn 2. Cotter squeezes him a little bit. Oh, they're still touching. How these two have not binned each other, I don't know. Oh, Delaney gets a bit of wheel spin, and Cotter will hang on. Oh, outstanding exchange between Cotter and Delaney, but it's not over. Delaney tries for the drive down into turn number 4. He can't quite get it. Just gets a little bit too sideways on the run down to turn 4. Geez, this battle, it is... Oh, this is mesmerising. I'm loving it. Delaney, careful with the track limits there. Runs very, very wide at turn 5. He's got to be careful. There are stewards watching that corner with a microscope this evening. Trying to select the right analogy. But, I'll settle down again. Delaney just probably rethinking his attack. He knows he can get a good run onto the front straight. He doesn't quite get as good a run this time. And in fact, Delaney here is going for the undercut. He's got to pull it up first for the pit lane. He does indeed. So well done to James Delaney. Outstanding exchange there. And he stops in pit lane. We'll see how long a pit stop takes for James Delaney. We are at half race distance. See how long it takes to travel through pit lane. And 31.3 seconds. That is not a bad stop for James Delaney. Now he's got to get those tyres up to temperature, but more importantly, he has come out in clear track, and he will be able to make use of those fresher tyres immediately. And that is going to hurt Matt Cotter, but we'll see how long Matt Cotter can go with these tyres. As Matt Richards also into pit lane. And also, just a side note, how many damn Matts do we have in the series? Outstanding, isn't it? You got Matt Cotter, then you got Matt Double, Matt Munroe, and then Matt Richards, and then you got Matt Nippers broadcasting the whole thing. Too many damn Matts. Anyway, that is the completion of half race distance. So guess who gets some channel points, or who doesn't get some channel points? I love this. Ruka gets nothing. Love to see it. Love to see it. All right, we'll start up a new prediction. This time for the end of the race. Who's going to finish higher? And we're going to go straight for the big guns here. So, Matt Cotter or James Delaney? Who's going to finish higher? Who's going to win this race? As we see Tyler Craig and Peter Reid into pit lane, Andrew Ferguson as well. So we're starting to see the pit stops cycle through. Matt Double still going. Make sure you get your predictions in and win some channel points. And, well, we haven't really got... Well, we got a little bit of a battle. So, Grant has actually managed to get... Oh, no, he hasn't quite got in front of Cahill, but he's on the back of Maddie Richards. So, the debutant is getting a bit of a lesson here, following Matt Richards. tip it through turn 4 again. So right on board with Grant actually. We'll give a little bit of a critique on his driving. Looking nice and smooth though. A little bit of a compression lock, so he's got to work on those downshifts, but that's okay. So our Burstman now into pit lane. That elevates McFarland up to second. McFarland still has to make his mandatory pit stop. Maddie Richards actually going for the super soft, so definitely keep an eye on what Matt Richards can do. He's on the back of Cahill now, who's just behind Tyler Craig. Interesting that Maddie Richards has gone with the super softs. He might be going for a two-stop strategy here, which will be very interesting. We'll definitely keep an eye on Matt Richards' progress. So he comes out in front of Matt Double though. No one jumping in on that prediction, so we'll try that again. So a new prediction up there. Who's going to finish high? Will it be Matt Cotter or will it be James Delaney? Cotter into pit lane, incidentally, and I think he has done enough to hold on to the race lead. He's got 37 seconds over. Should be out of pit lane now. Delaney firing it down the main straight. So the undercut hasn't quite worked for James Delaney. Cotter now, he's going to be on reasonably cold tyres. As he tips it around turn 2. Still waiting for those tyres to heat up on Matt Cotter's Commodore. This is giving Delaney a chance to close in on the back of him. In fact, we see that Delaney is closing in on the back of him now. As pit stops now pretty well finished filtering through. James Eaton dropping all the way back for some reason, unfortunately. Valuable input there from the Go Race Bird. It's very important stuff. It's very important stuff there. See Cotter now weaving down the straight, trying to break the slipstream for James Delaney. He's got to be careful of that. I mean, that is one way to get yourself a tour through pit lane. I think for Cotter, he's just got to be a little bit sensible here. We've only just gone lap 28. He is on much fresher tyres than James Delaney. He could theoretically lose the position, but managed to fight back and take it. Oh, Taylor Simmons, he has binned it. Where is that? That is, looks like that is, oh, that's the final corner. So, yeah, unfortunately for Simmons. 7. He has binned it, but we'll have a look and see if I'm right. He's actually, I think he's actually picked up some damage, and he has dived into pit lane, unfortunately. Anyway, let's rejoin our battle for the lead. This is what you're tuned in to see. Some nice tight racing between two of some of the best sim drivers in AK racing. As they fire it out of the hairpin towards the final 3 corners. Matt Cotter leading the way from James Delaney. And we've said this a lot since we started broadcasting for AK Racing. Matt Cotter versus James Delaney. Oh, Cotter ran a little bit wide there. He's going to have we're going to get a face full of Falcon soon. Here we go. So Delaney has got a lot of straight line speed in this Falcon. He's got the slipstream as well. Cotter trying to break it. He's moving left and right. He's going to force Delaney to go the long way around at turn 1. Delaney definitely thought about it. He definitely thought about sending it around the outside. He's going to try and switch back though for turn 2. Thinks better of it as Cotter just keeping that door firmly shut. Now they tip it around turn 3. I think about this point, these two cars are about on level footing. And that race just starting to settle down now between these two. Just starting to creep away slowly. So now we finally see Grant and Cahill into pit lane, so those two will continue their battle right up to the end of this race, and that's going to be exciting to tune into as Cotter runs it very deep. He's off the track, and that will hand the lead to Delaney, but now it'll be Cotter's turn to get the slipstream down the front straight. A little bit too close now to get a bit of that slingshot effect. He'll try it anyway into turn 1, and this is why he is called the torpedo, because he just sends it in there. Oh no, he's touched Delaney! Does he keep it pointing in the right direction? He has somehow done that. Unbelievable stuff. He avoids a bin in spectacular fashion. You just saw it then. He ran a little bit too close to that curb, got a little bit of a wiggle mid-corner, overcorrected into the side of Delaney, and he manages to just hang on. I cannot believe he did not end up going into the fence on the left-hand side. The spinning torpedo, well, he didn't quite spin that time. He held on to it. Well done to Matt Cotter. An impressive save indeed. But he's dropped 2.3 seconds. We'll see if he can close in on the back of James Delaney again. Delaney now coming up onto lap traffic in Grant. In fact, Grant has lost a lot of time to his sparring partner in Cahill. Don't know how they both didn't get punted yet. I don't know either. That could have been a race win handed to our birdsman. Let's check in on our birdsman. He's having at the moment a very lonely race, but right there, just coming into shot there is Peter Reid in the number 66 Mustang, almost called the Falcon for some reason. Reid is closing in on the back of our birdsman very, very slowly. So 30.2 for Reid, plays a 30.3 for our birdsman. So we might have a battle for the final step of the podium. Unfortunately, we got a bit of a lull in the action. Cotter is starting to close in on the back of Delaney. As oh no, Cahill has binned it at the back of Corporate Hill. This will bring Grant back into it. So silver lining to every cloud. So we will have a battle on our hands as both Cotter and Delaney now negotiating lap traffic. We have Simmons just ahead as well. So Simmons not having a good night in race number 2, that's for sure. Certainly out of position, Taylor Simmons. He normally runs a little bit closer to the top 10, but just hasn't really worked out for him this time. Seen him have some magnificent drives in the past, but obviously tonight's just not his night. He runs wide through turn 1. Delaney now a 30.5 his last lap, but Cotter, He's in the 29s now, 29.8. So Cotter is starting to come back. He's on the light flashes to Taylor Simmons. Just want Simmons to just sidestep him a little bit, and Simmons does so, actually quite perfectly there. So Matt Cotter now with a straight line of sight to the back of the Pertec Falcon. This battle for the lead definitely not over. We can certainly see another bin attempt from Matt Cotter. While we are waiting, here's a little reminder: if you want to get involved in AK Racing or even GT Club, one of the other leagues that we broadcast here, and see yourself on stream, you can join their Discords and join their championships right there. There's some links there. Sure you have a go. GT Club coming up with some very exciting events in the next couple of weeks. We go, well, they have WEC #1, LMP1 and GTE cars racing at Sebring for 90 minutes. And that is next Saturday night. I think they still have a few spots available. Lieutenant Lama, I'm sure you can confirm or deny that. And then, of course, they have their TA2 series starting up on the following Friday. I am super excited for the TA2s, just low-key super excited. Just like I'm super excited for this battle between Matt Cotter and James Delaney. Cotter is absolutely flying at the moment. He has got those tyres all cranked up and working for him. Don't know how much he has taken out of them, though, as he closes in on the back of James Delaney. Oh, Delaney, a little bit of a wobble there. Look at the back of Delaney's car now. He must be absolutely terrified by now, because he's just looked out his mirror and he can see the spinning torpedo right on him again. I'll see the slipstream play into effect for Matt Cotter down the front straight. Doesn't really help him this time by, but fastest lap of the race for Matt Cotter, 29.6. That is why he has closed up that 3-second gap in what I think was only about 3 laps. Cotter made that little mistake. Now Delaney, whoa, big slide there from Matt Cotter. He is pushing really hard in the number 99. Driver I'm keeping an eye on at the moment as well is Matt Richards. He's the only driver on the Super Softs. Actually, Grant is on the Super Softs as well. I don't know that that Mafia is going to make it to the end of the race on those Super Softs. He might go for a two-stopper. Maybe just grab some fuel, or maybe just grab tyres, no fuel. See where he ends up. Actually bring up the progress for all these drivers. James McFarlane, the most impressive tonight. He's up by 6 places. He's managed to leapfrog Tyler Craig in the pit stops, but he has definitely been the big winner tonight. Unfortunately, the biggest loser has to be Stephen Marsden down in 15th. Sorry, he's dropped 7 positions. But, well, we saw that a little bit earlier when he was battling away with James McFarlane, coincidentally. And unfortunately, he absolutely binned himself nice and proper at turn 2, or on the exit of turn 2, and basically he's gone a lap down, repairing the damage on the number 30 Altima, but he's still circulating, and that gets you a good amount of points. I mean, any points is better than no points, that's for sure. Oh, Cotter absolutely sliding it through turn 5. He is still pushing it. He's getting I'd say he's getting a little bit excited that he's closing in onto the back of James Delaney. It's been a brilliant comeback drive after that almost bin. Coming through turn 1. As they head through final few corners once again. This is exactly what we want to see on a Sunday night. Before we remember that tomorrow is sadly Monday. Here we go again. Close it. Cotter is really strong on the brakes going into turn number 2. He just can't really do much with it. That's the sad thing for Cotter. So he heads out of turn 5 again. He got a good change of direction with that Commodore. He's just got to be patient now. Now up to Corporate Hill once more. See that Cotter is starting to get the pressure on for Delaney. Big slide for Delaney coming out of Corporate Hill into the hairpin. And another big slide for Delaney on the exit of the hairpin. So just getting the impression that maybe Cotter is just settling into a rhythm. He's just going to try and unsettle Delaney, try and force Delaney into the error rather than having to make the move. Now 29.8 for Cotter, plays a 30.0 for Delaney. In fact, both these guys missing the apex by a country mile through turn 1. Now through turn 2 again. Similar lines for both these guys. Cotter, you just get the sense he's just starting to show a little bit of patience, a little bit of maturity here for the spinning torpedo. That's a good point, Ruka. Delaney could just be managing tyres and just keeping an eye on Cotter. But I think at this point, possibly Cotter might be doing the same thing. Cotter doesn't have to worry about the long life of his tyres. He pitted on the lap 28 or 29. Delaney pitted a full 4 laps earlier than Cotter. So one who's in struggle street for tyres, if anyone, would be Delaney. But, well, then again, Cotter has been thrashing those tyres pretty hard to close in on the back of Delaney. In fact, these guys are just trading lap times at the moment. 29.8 plays a 30.00 for Delaney and Cotter, respectfully. So round turn 2 once again. Speaking of managing tyres, we do have a little battle starting to brew here. We got Matt Double and Matt Richards. 2 more bloody Matts in this race. Well, Richards, I think the strategy has not paid off for him. He's still got another 10 laps to go before the end of this race, and he's got to try and hold off Matt Double. And I tell you right now, Double, he doesn't mind having a send here and there. Double and Richards both running a little bit wide on the exit of turn 3. Right on board now with Matt Double in the number 142 Asics Racing Commodore. And now fastest lap of the race for Matt Cotter, 29.5, so he just keeps raising that bar for Delaney. Oh, Richards gets a little bit sideways on the run to Corporate Hill. This might give an opportunity for Double. Double goes for the switchback, gets a little bit too sideways. Can he keep it off the fence? No, he can't, but he will get it back on track. I wonder how much damage has actually been done to the Commodore. Looks like he's gotten away with no steering damage, so Matt Double very lucky there. Maybe a bit unlucky as well. He just got a little bit too eager on the throttle, and you just got to be super, super gentle with these cars, especially anything to do with that right pedal. So I'll give that a solid 1 bin out of 5. Anyway, let's check in with our lead again, because it was down to 2/10 a little bit earlier in this lap, but Delaney's just sort of refocused and it's just started to open it up a little bit. So it's a big seesaw battle between these two. Delaney now gets a little bit sideways out of the final corner. That will give Cotter a chance to get the slipstream down the front straight. Now through turn number 1. Cotter just not close enough this time by. He can't do anything about it. Tip it through turn 1 again. Lap 40 now. Been a phenomenal drive from these two. They are miles ahead of Albertsma, Reed, and Albertsma and Reed. Albertsma's just, I think Albertsma will find himself under a bit of an assault from Peter Reed before the end of this race. Matt Double has closed in on the back of Matt Richards as well, so that battle is certainly not over between those two. Tyler Craig having a very lonely race in 7th. He's 5 seconds behind McFarlane and 6 seconds in front of Richards. You see Richards a 32.2 and Matt Double a 31.7. So that's the difference between super softs and softs when you put a huge amount of laps on them. Right on board again with Matt Double. They head through turn number 4 and turn 5. We also see Peter Reed now half a second off the back of Albertsma, so the battle for the final step of the podium is starting to kick off. 6/10 between Reed and Albertsma that previous lap. A 30.3 plays a 30.9 for Albertsma. So yeah, this battle is starting to come alive. And we got battle for first, we got a battle for third, and I think the battle for 8th has just resolved itself because Matt Double has made the move going into the hairpin after Corporate Hill. So Matt Double up to 8th. This will be a personal best for him if he can keep it on the island. Richards, though, it was a brave move going for super softs in the longer race, and it just has not paid off for him. I think if you're going to go super softs, you'll have to do a 2-stop strategy for sure. And in fact, Matt Richards is in here, he's backed right out of it. Say he's just trying to save his whatever's left of his tyres to try and defend from Andrew Ferguson in the TerraTech Nissan. He is starting to close in on the back of him. Tyler Craig has passed McFarlane. No way. Oh, no way! So McFarlane is out of the race. I think he may have either blown the engine or he ran out of fuel. I'm sure we'll get confirmation from James in chat. Oh, huge disappointment for James McFarland. Here we go. The battle is on here. James Delaney and Matt Cotter. Send and defend on the front of that Commodore, and I think we're going to see a little bit of the former very, very soon. Who has managed their tyres the best? They tip it through the hairpin one more time. I would say that Cotter is actually close enough to get a good slipstream down this front straight and maybe go for an attack into turn number 1. See who gets the better drive. Certainly wasn't Delaney that time, and we watched that gap between Cotter and Delaney start to shrink. But not fast enough though for Matt Cotter. Maybe less wing being run on the Falcon. Ooh, Cotter. This is aggressive stuff from Matt Cotter. Andrew Ferguson has just passed Matt Richards as well. Richards is in full survival mode at the moment on those super softs. And credit to him for trying something different to the rest of the field. But it has not worked out for him. As we watch Delaney and Cotter, they're battling away now. Thought that Cotter would go for a bit of a lunge into turn number 6, but he thinks better of it. Probably much better places to make the move. We can see that the number 17 is moving around a lot under Delaney. Oh, Delaney just made a little bit of a mistake there, grabbed way too much curb in the penultimate corner. This will give Cotter a chance. Not much of a chance though. That Falcon is rapid in a straight line. And time is running out for Matt Cotter. We're on lap 44 of 48 as they tip it through turn 1 once more. Getting set up for an epic end to this race as we ride on board with Cotter. See where how this number 17 is actually behaving for Delaney. I mean, it's not too bad. It certainly is not getting the power down as nicely as what Delaney would like it to. So through turn 6 we go, and again. Oh, Cotter! He's wide, almost bins it. I don't know how he saved it, but that has cost him a lot of time. And now he's got to do all that work once more. So as much as there is heaps of pressure on Delaney at the moment, there is just as much pressure on Matt Cotter, as he can see how many laps are left in this race. As we tick off lap 44 and begin lap 45, leaves only 3 laps left to run for these two guys. Similarly for our Bertsma, he is really under pressure from Peter Reid. Quickly leave this battle because keep an eye on our Bertsma. He's doing a very good job of holding off Peter Reid, the series champion from last season. They tip it through turn 2. A little bit of a slide there for Reid. Doesn't hurt him too much, it seems. Tries to get the power down nicely out of turn 3. You can just see that the Mustang is starting to struggle in the longer corners. Struggling with that mid-corner grip. Matt Munroe is also, I think he has come in for new set of tyres. Or he's come in for a drive-through. I'm not sure, but either way, that has elevated Tyler Craig and Matt Double. In fact, Munroe, I am going to bet that Munroe has taken new tyres because he has gone straight off. Actually, no, he has held on to be in front of Tyler Craig and Matt Double, I think. Or has he had a disconnect? Has he had a disconnect, or has he bumped the return to pits button? I think he has accidentally bumped the return to pits button. Unbelievable. How much bad luck can these two Munroe brothers have? That's the camera I wanted. Here we go, so our Bertsma. Peter Reid is right on the back of him now. And he is hunting. He is almost had a chance there through turn 2. Peter, a very experienced sim racer, knows exactly where to put his car. He knows exactly what he needs to do. Oh, that is close. And oh no, Peter Reid, he's just saved it there. So that's basically that battle done. I cannot see Peter Reid making up more than 1 second with 2 laps left to run, unless Albertsma makes an error. He might do, looking at how this Commodore is moving around on track. He cannot get the power down at all. Cotter is starting to close the gap down to Delaney as well. Haven't really got any other battles, so I guess we'll have a look through. So Tyler Craig in 5th place. I'm willing to bet that Matt Munroe has had some sort of error because he's showing up in 11th place. So unless he's picked up a penalty as well, I have no idea. Then we have a great showing for Matt Double. He's in 6th place. That'll be a great result for Matt Double. Huge confidence boost. And Andrew Ferguson's been a good recovery drive from him. He's up to 7th again. Matt Richards just 10 seconds adrift from him. He's in absolute survival mode with these super soft tyres. I don't know if he intended to go on the super softs or if it just happened like that. But either way, he is hanging on for dear life. He's done a 35.5. It plays a 31.3 from James Eaton here. So Eaton could be on for 8th place. And then back in 10th and a lap down, maybe 2 laps down, is Cahill. Yep. I can see the leaders because they've started their final lap, and Matt Cotter is all over the back of James Delaney. So here we go. Final lap. We're going to have a send. The chance of send is 100%. So here comes Matt Cotter. He's on the back of Delaney here. It's all or nothing now. He doesn't need to look up to tyres. Neither will Delaney. Here we go. They pass Maffey. Pulls out of the way. Cotty couldn't make the move stick there. He's running out of time. He's got to get an almighty run out of Corporate Hill, but Delaney will just white line it. But Cotter will just think about a switchback. He's going to try it. But Delaney's awake to it. No. Oh, here comes Cotter. I thought he was going for a lunge, but it's not enough for Matt Cotter unless he can get a slipstream down the front straight. He has got the slipstream. He's going to pull out. I don't think he's got enough time. And Delaney is going to take the win by 0.072 of a second. So James Delaney, the winner of race number 2. Outstanding race between Delaney and Matt Cotter. That was 48 laps of pure racing from those two guys, and it was non-stop. So hats off to both of those guys. Unbelievable stuff there. Albertsma has held on for 3rd ahead of Peter Reid. I think Matt Munroe, he's up to 10th. I don't think, I'm waiting for Tyler Craig now to cross the line to round out the top 5. Behind him, Matt Double. Oh, Matt Munroe is having a bit of an expression session now in front of Tyler Craig. I think, I don't know what Craig would think about that. But anyway. Tyler Craig will cross the line for 5th. Matt Double home in 6th. He'll be thrilled with a 6th place finish in his first season of V8 Supercars. Andrew Ferguson, a great recovery for him in 7th. And then we're waiting for James Eaton, who managed to recover to 8th. I have a feeling that he got tangled up in some of the first lap insanity. And that is that for another night of racing. So James Delaney, the winner by 0.064 of a second over Matt Cotter. Then we have Albertsma in 3rd place. So a great result for Albertsma to hold on to the podium. And we have Peter Reid and Tyler Craig rounding out the top 5. Matt Double, a great performance for 6th. Andrew Ferguson, similarly a great performance for him for 7th. Then we have Eaton, Richards, Cahill. Cahill should be thrilled with the top 10. Over the page, Matt Munroe. We don't know what happened to Matt Munroe. He was up there. He was up there in the top 5, but then for some reason he's just ended up in pit lane and a lap down. But, he comes home in 11th ahead of Grant. Then we have Simmons, Marsden, and McFarland. Then Hughes, Ross, and Chris Munroe, our DNFs for the night. Well, let's have a look at some highlights of those 2 races. We'll start with race 1, lap 6. As soon as it loads up. Let's see. Here we go. El Grant, a fan favourite. I have a feeling that there may be a conflict of interest there, Christoph. That's okay, though. We can all cheer on our mates here. Oh, that reminds me, I've got to give out some channel points. So, Bullet, you've had a pretty bad end to the night at Longpal. He's going to get a lot of points tonight. Don't know what how many points he actually got there. We'll have a look at it. So 10,200 to Longpal. Nice. Okay, so let's go into drone mode for the start of this one. We'll break down what happened at turn 2, because there was a little bit of shenanigans that happened. I think initially it was rather clean, but if we go into 4 times slow motion, it was a little bit of a hip and shoulder here from Delaney on Munroe, which put Munroe out wide. And, Cahill getting into the back of double there. Double, should turn that into a little drift. One of the Terratech Altimas going wide, but yeah, otherwise reasonably clean. I've seen worse turn ones. I think we are about to have a Tyler Craig join us in the commentary box, and then unfortunately Cahill just ran out of talent there, I think, and unfortunately for him and our newcomer Grant had nowhere to go really. He would have been off-sighted like crazy. In fact, we will bring that up. Stericos Cassell, there we go. We want Grant. Here we go. Just rewind here. In fact, we'll probably go first person here, so he would have been watching Hughes, and yep, nowhere to go. And then, unfortunately, he's just dropped a wheel on the dirt, and around he went. Cahill making a return. Hasn't raced in a good while. Good to see him back. Yeah. Well, that is good. P3 stoked with that. Yeah, you should be. James. All right. What are we looking for? Maddie Richards, lap 6. Where is he? There he is. Right. So lap 6, it was turn 1. I think there was a little bit of shenanigans that went on between Richards and McFarland. Cut me deep. Yep. Find out eventually. Come on. There we go. Here it is. So, what's actually happened here? That's not a healthy sounding engine, that's for sure. Ooh. Oh, and then Cotter arrives on the scene, has to split the atom, though. Yeah. That was quite tight between those guys. We might actually go on board with Cotter and just see... No, not Cotter. It's not Cotter that we want. It's double. Too many mats in this series, Maffey. Got to cut down on the mats. And it can't be me. He's lost it there, and oh, that was very tight there for Matt Double. But he's done well to play thread the needle. All right, now we're gonna have a look at Tyler Craig, and while we have a look at this, we're gonna actually bring Tyler Craig into the commentary box. Tyler Craig, can you hear me? And can Tyler Craig hear us? Yes, he can. He can hear us indeed. All right, well, good stuff, because we're actually going to look at your mistake.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't remember making one. What's this one? Forgot.
Don't remember making one. Jeez. Here we go. Right, well, I think, I'm trying to remember, all I know is it happened on lap 9. I think you may have just binned it somewhere. Yeah, here we go. So, I have a feeling this is just, you've just got on the throttle a little bit too early. Yep, and held on to it though.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest mistake I made of the race, I reckon.
And was it pressure from Albertsma behind you, or was it just trying to keep up with Matt Munroe in front of you?
No, it was my tyres. I went for softs in race 1, and they were just dead by pretty much that point, so I was just struggling to keep them behind.
Okay, well, could have been worse. Now, quickly jump out of this replay, and we'll have a look at race number 2. There was some shenanigans going on at the start there. And while we're waiting for this to load up, James, could you give us a bit of an insight what happened to you? Because it looked like you blew up the engine. Well, while we're waiting for James to respond, Tyler, that was actually not a bad race for you. Top 5. You got to be happy with that.
Yeah, best finish in AK at the moment now.
I'm sure you had some pretty good. Oh no, you didn't. You didn't take part in the mini Can-Ams, did you?
One race.
Ah, okay.
That one where I lost third by 0.00000 or whatever.
Well, that's a good finish.
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, I guess so. I guess so. Don't get too upset by third. All right, now I want to say, as soon as it spawns everyone in, I want to say that it has something to do with Grant here. Oh, hang on, I better do a screen share. I'm getting better at this.
Yeah.
I'm getting better at it. So I have a feeling that Grant hasn't really gotten off the line very strong. Or maybe he's got off the line really strong. Maybe not as strong as Taylor Simmons. And, oh, okay, that was a bit odd.
I did see something in my mirror. Someone gone sideways.
Yeah, we had a lot of that going on. No, that's the wrong car. Here we go. We'll go on board with him and we'll find out what actually happened. I'm going to guess that on the second phase of the acceleration. Oh, yeah, wheel spin. Classic rookie error. Okay, well, that sorts out that issue. 15, there's Delaney. Something happened to... Oh, hang on, we have to go through turn 1 here because there was some shenanigans... Well, turn 2, sorry, because there was some little bit of shenanigans going on here.
I had a really good turn 2 through here. Just went out through the outside of everyone here.
Yep.
Somehow.
Well, yeah, you can see there Peter Reid got a little bit into the side of Matt Munroe, and that really helped you. So reasonably not too bad actually. See there Peter Reid just giving a little touch, taparoo, and you're just being a bit of a trailer park girl going around the outside, and that worked out for you.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Interesting way to put it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's 2 trailer park girls that go around the outside. You haven't heard that Eminem song?
I would have. I can't remember it though. I'm not really into his music.
Am I just showing my age?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just showing my age there.
I've definitely heard it.
Okay. Next one, Delaney. Yes, yes, I am. Thanks, Lieutenant. I gotta clear out my chat. I think I've got too many naysayers. Yeah. Don't know what happened. It was I think it was a change of position between Matt Cotter and Delaney. We'll get there eventually. There we go. So he's dropped behind Matt Cotter at that point and that point. So it's obviously on this lap that it's happened. Get Bradley in the commentary to balance the age. Yeah, I could do that. I could just get you in commentary, Ruka. That'll make me feel less old. Now, saw a lot of this from the top 2 guys. They were getting a little bit slideways going through 4 and 5. And Delaney's just outbraked himself, and Cotter's just gone straight through. Thank you very much. I'll take that.
Yeah, it's a pretty easy mistake to do there, to outbreak yourself through there.
Giggles the Dragon, I'm over 30. Is that young? Well, if I'm old, then you're definitely old too, because I'm 32.
It's not that old.
Yeah, it's pretty old. I keep thinking of racing. Basically, if you're over 20, you're old. It's true though. Right, Ferguson. Let's find out what happened to Fergo. We're going to the next.
Oh yeah, I remember this. Yep. I feel like I was pressuring Ferguson just a little bit, maybe making him very impatient. I think I've done that to a few drivers actually, and then yeah, everything just went in my way.
So I'd say,
somehow.
yeah, here we go. So he's had a bad run out of the final corner. Maffey's just, it's basically textbook stuff. He slipstreams him, pulls out of the draft. I don't think he could have fit a cigarette paper between the front of that Mustang and the back of the Nissan. But anyway.
This is where it went wrong.
Yep, so he's gone very wide. And I think this is where it centre punched Maffey as well. So yeah, that's exactly what I thought. So we'll go into free cam here, and we'll break this down. So he's missed his braking mark because he's trying to recover the car back onto the circuit, and unfortunately he's tried to avoid Maffey, but he just left it too late to try and bail out of it.
Yeah, also going on the grass, I've done it in practice before. Once you're on the grass and brake, you just cannot stop the car at all.
No, that's right. Well, I wonder if he started braking on the grass. No, we've gone too far back. Gone too far forward. Gone too far back. So
That'll do.
this is lovely. This is lovely. Maffey will be loving this. Probably not so much the next one. But I have to say that wing end plate on the Mustang really doesn't suit a flag.
Not really. I mean, maybe the Nepalese flag, but that's about it.
Austrian, German, maybe. So
Nepal.
just Nepal, yeah, maybe. No, isn't that the weird shaped flag?
Yeah, that's like the two triangles.
Yeah, no. So he's trying to get on the brake. He hasn't settled the car, and yeah, he's locked up the brake.
Yep.
Yeah. So he's done his best to avoid it, but once it locks up, it's very hard to pull it up again, unfortunately. So I mean, at least he's got Trogdor on the wing end plate. That's always fun. I like Trogdor. Love the little things that people hide on liveries. It's great. All right, and the last thing that we want to have a look at is Taylor Simmons. So he's not getting away from it with it, and we have to go forward about 10 laps here. So
on Richards as well.
Was it on Richards?
What, into the final corner, was it?
Oh, potentially.
Yeah, it was Richards. Like that, I could have got really badly just out of the race there.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, okay. So these guys were fighting away. You're trying to lap them, I'd say. Or was this for position?
This was for position. We just come out of pits.
Oh, I mean, too wide going through that section of circuit. Not ideal, I have to say. And let's try and find you again. There we are.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll go on board with you, and yeah.
I broke pretty early into that corner because I knew something bad was going to happen.
Yeah, you see, Simmons has grabbed the curb, and oh man, you played that really well, actually.
Yeah.
So, that was pretty tough. Like, we'll go on a free cam for this one as well, and just give a bit of a breakdown as to what's actually happened. I'd say that Simmons, he's off on the dirty stuff. He's trying to give room to Maffey, but he probably should have bailed out of it. But, lessons learned. Lessons are always learned from any mistake. And, yeah, that is that. Now, we'll try and find our race winner for race number 2. And that is this guy here, Delaney. And that's where we'll probably end this stream. But, geez, that was really good racing all night long. Sydney Motorsport Park turns it on. Again.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was alright.
Just alright?
Yeah, not my favourite track, but
yeah,
it's a track.
It's a track. Yeah. Well, anyway, we'll probably bring you up to speed with what's going on this channel in the future. So Tuesday night, we are back live with Shakedown Sim Racing for ACC. It is round 7 at Zolder. I'm looking forward to that one, and Tyler, are you going
I
to join
love
me?
Zolder. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll join. I love Zolder. One of my favorite tracks.
It's just a big go-kart track, and that's what I like about it.
Pretty much, like
Very technical.
even with the chicanes,
Yep.
like it just works.
Yep. Just very technical, very tight. Easy to make a mistake, tough to make a pass. It's going to be an awesome night of racing, that's for sure. Now, I think we have a little bit of a break, but next Saturday, I believe, will be this little event here, the GT Club World Endurance Championship, the first round. That is at Sebring, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, if I have a look at their Discord and just have a quick count of what they've got. Let's see. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, possibly 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, and 25 drivers are signed up for that one. That's going to be ballistic, I reckon. Hopefully we can get you on board for streaming that one, Tyler.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, that's going to be very exciting. Then we go a 2-week break before we see a return to action for the AK Racing V8 Supercars, and that will be round 3 at Albert Park. Looks like a very interesting format that they've got going. As soon as I find the calendar again, really good at that. There we are. Actually, it's actually pretty standard. 2 24-lap races with mandatory pit stop and a top 10 reverse grid. How do you feel about Albert Park?
I haven't really raced on it much apart from the Formula 1 games. Looks pretty good. I mean, be interesting to see how that goes.
Maddie Richards hates it, so there you go. You got one competitor you can beat.
Oh yeah, all
Yeah,
right, cool.
easy. Yeah. Just punt him if he gets in front of you. Just punt him. You
I'm
didn't
not
hear
that
that
kind
from
of
me.
driver though.
You didn't hear that from me. Going to die. It's okay. It's okay. That means you can punt him, Tyler, because he's going to die anyway. It's not going to hurt him.
But I'm not that kind of driver.
You can be.
I don't want to be.
Good man. That's what we like to hear. All right. Last thing we're going to promote is, again with GT Club, starting on the 11th of March, and that is the TA2 Muscle Car Series. I'm super excited about this. This is going to be really cool. If I jump back into their Discord very quickly and have a look at their grid. The grid has started to fill up pretty quickly. They're up to 17 competitors now. So if you haven't already done so, get on board with GT Club's Discord and get on board with AK Racing's Discord. Get involved in these series because, TA2, that is going to be, really excited about that one. That's about it from me. We don't really have anything else on. I think we can wrap this stream up here. What do you guys reckon? What do you reckon, Tyler?
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah, I reckon.
2 hours 50 is long enough to be streaming. Actually, it's more than 3 hours. Yeah. So that's good. That's good enough for me. Look, thank you to everyone who joined in the stream tonight. Thank you to SMR Smartin, the most recent follower. Definitely. If you've enjoyed the stream, make sure you hit the follow button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button as well if you want to. If you're joining us on YouTube, stop watching us on YouTube. Join us on Twitch. Get involved with all the prediction stuff because that is great fun. We will see you on Tuesday night for ACC with Shakedown Sim Racing. Until then, we will see you as soon as I get all this set up. God. We will see you next time. Adios, everyone.